How is Mayan ceremony and the Popol Vuh connected?
So ritual and myth always go together. So we have the myth of the Popol Vuh that goes with the ritual of the Maya day-keeping ceremony. So that's a huge question. We'd be here for a long time. But basically, if you know the story of the Popol Vuh, then the day-keeping counting is going to tell the story of the Popol Vuh that actually follows the 20 days of creation. Yes? So in the Popol Vuh, it starts with the flat water, this flat sea is just sitting there with the sea and the sky, and there's no earth. So that's the first day, Imosh. Then the wind blows. That's Ik, the second day. And then when there's a respiration, and then Akbal, the dawn, and out of the dawn comes the creation of the sky. And so the story of the Popol Vuh follows the story of the 20 days. Yes? For the Maya, they had a secret way of telling. They knew, these are mnemonic devices of memory, that the 20 days that becomes the 260 days is kind of like the telling of the Popol Vuh in an esoteric way. So the Maya day keeping and the Popol Vuh come together as the 20 days, mnemonic device. If you follow those 260 days, you're going to be able to tell the whole story of the Popol Vuh.
So during the ritual, they count the days in relation to the Popol Vuh's days?
Yeah, and metaphorically, not directly. That would be very complicated to do. You would have to know all the days, and certainly people must have done that, but they've simplified the actual ritual practice itself to make it more popular. Before, people told me, and I worked with these people back in the 90s, they've died now, and they had these incredibly personal ways of doing the ritual that we saw yesterday. It was very individualistic. Now it's more like they're trying to make an orthodoxy. But there was no fire ceremony before the signing of the peace treaty in 1996. Before that, it was all individual kinds of people doing their own certain kind of style of fire. But in the Popol Vuh, the pivotal point in the narrative is when the hero twins jump into the fire and transform themselves. And when they jump into the fire, they transform themselves and they become these magicians. And these magicians return to defeat the lords of the underworld. The Hunapunch Balanque are the lords of life, and they're the lords of the rain, and they're the sun and the moon, and they're the ones who cause the corn to grow. They're like pro-corn. Whereas the lords of the underworld, they're dry, they're all about death, they're all about hurricanes, they're all about tempest, they're all about destroying the power of the corn people. So, when you do your ritual, you're saying, we're a powerful people, we're the corn people, and we're going to perform rituals on these particular days. So that's what we did yesterday. We performed ritual on the day of the man who gave the ritual, who is Alu, Pedro, and so his whole family came to help him make him strong. And as they make him strong, he makes them strong. And so he's on his way up, and so his people are on their way up. And that's the story of the Popol Vuh. The hero twins, they become stronger. They fight against the lords of death. They become stronger. Their people become stronger. And so when you do ritual, you think of yourself as a cultural hero. You're trying to be heroic. You want to act heroic. And you want to give a good example for all the people around you. And so that's what we do when we do ritual. We create examples, good examples of action, good examples of how to be with one another.
When the fire is formed in the beginning of the ritual, can you explain to us the significance of the things like the candles, the tobacco, the pucks of fuel, some of those things that are added into the formation?
Okay, so those are in the Popol Vuh. Like yesterday, the guy told us the name of the mishtam, incienso, the different kinds of incenses. They mean different things, and so they all have these kinds of significance. They can have personal significance to people, and then they have cultural significance. So the tobacco is like the skin of the sun the sun, when it was a human being, his skin, he just cleaned his skin off, like when you have dirt on your skin and you roll it back like that, you get that little round ball, that little round thing. That's like the first tobacco. Just the skin of the sun, yeah. And so the tobacco is it's like comes from the sun, and it's the taste of the sun. It's that the fire, the flame on it is the sun. The ember is also Arcturus, the red giant that was above us above us this time of year all night long. Midnight, the Arcturus is directly above us. This is when the zenith passage of the sun passes over us at midday. So as above, so below. So you have Arcturus, the red giant, above us at night. The sun above us in the daytime. Perfect time to do ritual. That's why we're going to go do ritual again today, to call the rain, because the sky and the earth are above each other. So yeah, those they just used to have yellow and white candles, but they've made more. They found a way to make colored candles. So the colored candles help create a cosmovision. So yesterday, when you see the images, when you make your film, and you'll see the images, you'll see the red in the east for the rising sun, red rising sun, white in the north for the bone dry, deserty whiteness of the north, where the ancestors are, the bones of the ancestor, north. Black for the setting sun, for the dark of night, for the darkness, akbar, yeah. And then in the south, where all the heat and the sun is, that's yellow, and that's abundance. That's all prosperity and wealth, is the southern quadrant. Then in the center, you saw yesterday, they had these two candles. One was blue and one was green. So the green is the green of the milpa, of the corn, and the blue is the rain. So we were really calling in the and that's always at the center. That's what they call Rkush Kach, Rkush Uchulev. Rkush Kach is the heart of the sky. That's the blue. That's the rain. And Rkush Uchulev is the green, and that's the heart of the earth. So all those have a symbolic meaning. The incenses have a lot of meaning, and boy, I don't want to say what they are because I'll be wrong to somebody. So the little grains, the really sweet smelling incense, one time a man said those are the tears of the sun. Those are the tears of the sun. His son Jesus, who they see as a corn deity. I wrote this book about this, how the Mayas changed the story of Jesus into the story of the corn of the corn deity, coming to be saved, and for him to save the world. Yeah, so you have these different kinds of incenses, and those different kinds of incenses have different kinds of powers, and so yeah, those are the deities, the gods and the goddesses. I don't want to call them gods and goddesses. I don't like that so much, but the deities. The Earth Mother, the Moon Maiden, the Earth Mother, the Sun, and Venus, all these different deities, and their different ancestral deities. They like to smell flowers. They like to see the beauty of the flowers. They like to see the beauty of that. So they see their descendants, they're watching their descendants, and they're seeing their descendants create a beautiful flower. That ceremony is called a flower. It's called a kutzech. So that is called a flower. And a fire is a flower, and fire is flowers. So, the Mayas see that what they see in a flower is that it's fire. It's the actual earth fire that's made of flower. And the sun heats up the plant to create the fire of that plant, which is the flower of that plant. Beautiful way of looking at life. Where things mix over. You have to understand that. It's not like our world of rationality was this, is that. These things mean multiple things to multiple peoples, and so it's hard to make a really clear definition of what each individual things are. They have many meanings for meanings and different meanings for different people in different places.
So then what you were just talking about, that kind of connects together, like the green blanket of pine needles with the flower petals around the ring, plus just the formation in the center that all signify the flower in some way. Plus the incense is like the smell of the flower, and a lot of those things connect to the idea of the flower, which really is a huge meaning in general to the Mayan people, right?
Right. Yeah. That you're causing the flowering of the mountain earth. Your ritual is the flowering of the mountain earth, and that giving of the ritual of the flowering of the mountain earth will cause the mountain earth, which the face of the earth is called the mountain earth, and that is going to cause the world to flower. So just with the one rain that we have, you saw all the flowers, all the white lilies that have come up all over the place. They're so beautiful, and more flowers will come out as the rain falls. And the world will just go into a flowering, and then at the end of the rainy season, in October, November, then the whole world flowers. It's a flowering into death. As the world flowers into death, into dryness, then the whole world will be covered. All the milpas will be covered with these yellow and white flowers. And yeah, there'll just be flowers everywhere. Beautiful purple flowers, big wild dahlias that are pinkish, purplish, lila colored flowers. Just flowers everywhere. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're all creating this beautiful flower, this beautiful image, and it's important, the beauty of that, image. I think it's become so normalized for the people that we worked with yesterday that they don't actually sit back and look at what they're doing as something that's beautiful as it is. Yesterday was really beautiful, the way that they set that up, and how everybody worked together in community, how those hands, they're all in there, working, and some people are opening, like me, I was just opening things, getting it prepared, then Lou, I don't know if you noticed this, it was a natural thing that there was a woman worked with the woman and the man worked with the man. No one had to say anything, no one had to do anything. We just fall into that as people who have done ritual hundreds of times, then they just fall into those kinds of things. So that was great yesterday. This woman's worked with the woman, I worked with Pedro, and we worked on one half and they worked on another half. We didn't have to say it. Men and women together building this fire in this most kind of archetypal way. It was just gorgeous.